Excellent.
Episode 11, O City Battles, Real Talk. Fella, tell them who you are.
Hello everyone, watching All City Battles. Hello Norway, hello UK. My name's Toucan. Probably seen me on Don't Flop a couple of times, as well as various other smaller leagues here, there and everywhere. A big shout out All City Battles as well.
Cool, welcome fella.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
Good to have you on. Let's just start at the very beginning and tell people how you got into music and battling, man.
Well, I'll do battling first, since that's where most people know me from, okay. I think. How it was kind of weird, actually, how I got on Don't Flop, because I was living with this girl who knew from college, and she told me about it when she heard a couple of the tunes I've been making in my bedroom when I was baked. I was a uni student at this point.
Okay.
So I was checking out all them battles. I'd seen a couple of them before, but not enough to kind of piece it all together, if that makes sense. Just ones that my mates had sent me, the odd one here and there, as well as watched a lot of the old Lord of the Mic stuff, Jump Off and that sort of thing. Yeah. So I sent them an email. This was around, I think, sort of September 2011.
Okay.
Sent it when I was really, really baked. I thought, you know what, I could try this. I've done poetry on stage before. I've done music performances on stage before. I can do this. So I sent that email when I was really baked. Woke up the next day, totally forgot I'd even sent it. Carried on watching the battles. So then it was really weird when it gets around to early November and I get an email in my inbox from the Don't Flop staff, and I'm like, okay, this is a bit weird. So I click it. See that I'd emailed them saying, how do you get involved? And with a link to some of my stuff. They emailed back saying, yeah, we think you're pretty dope. Do you want to try out? And that's where it all came from there, really. I started battling the January first quarter tryout 2012.
Yeah.
Battled against this guy, Ropey Rowe, who was also from Ipswich like me, which was a bit funny as well. So obviously I knew people that knew him and vice versa. So we get into some quite deep stuff there. He was quite interesting, actually, man. I don't think I'll ever battle anyone like him again. Like, he had this weird speech impediment. I can't even really describe what it was like. I mean, he was sick. His written material was so good, but because of that speech impediment, he just didn't wash over with the crowd at all. I think if he'd have had the same delivery that I'd had, he would have won that easily. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. But then it all sort of escalated from there, really, battling-wise. Music, I was in a band rapping when I was about 16, I think. Was I 16? Yeah, I was 16. I was rapping over sort of ska music, and then from there I started doing solo stuff and performance poetry, always trying to keep things a bit weird. You know what I mean? I don't like doing that sort of generic stuff that everyone's heard before. I like to keep things a bit bizarre and out there. You know, the sort of lyric, I like doing the sort of lyrics that make people go, did he really, you know, did he just say that? Like, that's a bit sort of random. That's not the sort of thing I'd expect to hear on a hip-hop track, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Cool. You just had your release on Don't Flop against Frequent Thought, which went demo channel. I mean,
yeah.
I personally was like, when I watched it, I was like, what the fuck? I personally think you smashed him, no matter how bad he was. Like, no matter how, take him out of the thingy and watch your 3 rounds, which I did. I've never skipped a battle. I've never skipped anyone in a battle. I've watched every battle except for that guy. I watched his first about half a verse and had to skip him every time. Sorry, that was disgusting. But
it's very difficult to watch, and I don't know why particularly it is so difficult to watch. I think with him, the reason it is so difficult to watch his stuff is because it is bad. Don't get me wrong, and I've told him, I said, you need to come with a totally different approach. Just what you were trying wasn't working. But I think it was because he was so confident in it. Like, it's one thing somebody being bad because they've got strong materials but aren't confident and so choke or whatever. Yeah. But it's an entirely different thing when somebody comes with really bad written material but just kind of carries on like they think it's awesome and just no one's reacting. The whole thing's kind of awkward, really. But, I mean, personally, I don't think he should have been on the demo channel, though. No, I don't think he was bad enough to make it to the demo channel.
Just for yours. Just for your performance alone. I'm sorry. Like, that quite easily one of the best performances like that you've actually performed, if you get what I mean. Not the actual for like some of the bars or like in particular. It was just the whole performance in itself.
Yeah.
You gave complete solidness, and then they go and demo channel you as if to say, well, yeah, you did that, but sorry, this guy's just pissed all over you with his badness. I'm sorry. it's literally what that. You know what I mean? Like I don't normally say bad things about Don't Flop as itself, but I think that was a bad move.
Well, I mean, I can see where they were coming from their side of things. Personally, I was a bit miffed that it was on the demo channel, you know, because I think it's my favourite performance of mine to date. I think it's definitely my strongest on Don't Flop, at least to date. So it was kind of a sting that it wouldn't get as many views, you know what I mean? Like after a week, it's on sort of 1,800 views, I think, which is actually not bad for the demo channel, but that's not main channel views. On the other hand, though, you know, Don't Flop aren't there as an establishment to promote me personally. Like they've got to do their thing, you know what I mean? And if it's detrimental to the channel, that being on the main channel or on Don't Flop Extra, so they'd have to put it on there. I can understand where they're coming from, you know what I mean? So there's no hard feelings from my part. It's a bit of a, you know, I wish more people would have seen that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Kind of like stepping in dog shit. That's what it feels like. Okay. Really, you know when you step in dog crap and you look at your foot and you're like, this is fucking stupid. I've got to now, you know, and you just feel like it's a really shit thing to happen, but it's no one's fault, man. Like, life.
That's part of the parcel of it, unfortunately. Sometimes it don't matter what, no matter how good a day you have in the office, other people can fuck them up. So let's move on. Have you got any works in the future coming out? Like you got? What you mean, battle wise, music wise, anything?
Well, battle wise, I'm battling Zeus at this event. I've forgotten. That's really bad, isn't it? I've forgotten the name of the event. I'll link it on my Twitter. I'm sharing it on Facebook and Twitter all the time. So that's going to be quite good, man. Zeus is a guy that's been in it for a long time, and I'm confident I can beat him. I am confident I can beat him, especially on the performances I've done this year already. So it'll be quite good for me to beat Zeus, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to doing that. There's also, I've had a couple of things spoken about to me on the Don't Flop side of things. Can't say anything yet because it's really, really early days. But, you know, that if that all comes through, that'll be really cool. Music-wise, I'm working on an EP at the moment. I've recently sort of started my own record label / music collective thing, like me and a few mates sort of around Ipswich and further afield who have been rapping together for a while but have never really put anything out. We've sort of come together under one heading, and the idea is we're going to sort of all cross-promote it and stuff like that, help each other out with recording, beats, etc., kind of to help promote ourselves, you know, all together is better than alone sort of thing.
Yeah, of course it is, of course it is.
So we've got me and my mate Snoobo. He's sick, by the way. You can check out his debut mixtape as well as my two latest ones. If you go to massiveknob.bandcamp.com, actually.
It's in the link below on the
excellent, good. Because he's literally, I've been rapping with the guy for about 2 years, but he's only recorded anything like in the last month or so. But I'm well chuffed with it, man. But me and him are doing a mixtape together called Adjust Your Set, where all the beats are remixes of old TV show themes. So you've got like a Simpsons remix in there. There's a couple of film ones as well, I think. You've got Jurassic Park, the old X-Men cartoon show. So that's really interesting, man. The material we've got for that is fire. So I'm looking forward to dropping that later on in the year.
Okay, cool. As I have done with everyone else, let's talk about the Sunburn cars and your opinions.
Yeah.
Let's not move away from it, because I just like talking about it because there's a lot of good matches that everyone gets their honest opinion about.
It's a sick card, man. It's a really sick card. Like, they really pulled that one out, and we're just like, this is the caliber we're going for now. I mean, Censor versus Unanimous. I am so hyped for that battle. Like, the part of me that's a fan is so hyped to see that, because I know those guys have had beef in the past as well. They're two guys that just do not fucking give a shit when it comes to battles either. They will say whatever they need to get that win. So if you can just imagine them both going at it, like, that's going to be intense, man. That's a battle that I don't think is going to disappoint at all. It's just going to be insane.
Okay. Many others have given a different opinion on that, to be fair.
Yeah, but mate, a lot of battlers don't like Yunnan and Censor, man.
Yeah,
that's the reason why.
I was quite surprised at your reaction. I was quite glad that we had someone who was actually positive about it for once.
Ah, man. Yunnan's my boy, innit? Like, me and Yunnan, I get on with Yunnan. Like, I always sort of jibe him a bit in bars, but it's all sort of jokish banter. But a lot of... By the fans, he's massively rated, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, and obviously by the staff, he's massively rated because of how good he is with what he does. But just for some reason, a lot of other battlers just don't seem to get on with him. Yeah, yeah. He's the guy they love to hate. I don't fucking get it, man.
It's the same with Censor, though.
But the reason with Censor is because...
Reasons.
The reason with Censor is because he's just such a horrible cunt. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. The reason with Censor is because he comes through in battles and is just such an unapologetic dick. Like, Censor is a guy who feeds off hate, man. Like, that's what works for him. I don't think Yunnan feeds off hate as much. Like, Yunnan's just got that fire and intensity, whereas Censor plays the bad guy. You know what I mean? That's why people hate Censor. But Yunnan, I don't understand why they hate Censor. Why they hate Yunnan, even.
Yeah. The first card on the actual battle was Tony D versus Double L.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting one, man. That's a big step up for Double L, though. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, because I think he does. He deserves a much bigger battle than the ones he's been getting. But, I think Tony's going to body him. Like, just judging on the way he's been speaking on Twitter as well. Like, I think a lot of people are thinking, because of how Tony was versus Euphorical, where he was very clear from the outset that it was just practice for him, and he wasn't as strong as he usually is when he's defending his title. I think people are assuming he's going to come like that, but I don't think he will, man. I think especially because of, obviously, the whole Ian Daniels thing.
Yeah, no, think... From what I'm hearing, yeah, because I've done 3 shows with E&D members. I've had Fats, J Matrix, and Flabs last night. And they're all saying that he awoke a beast. And they've not seen Tony D this, like, ready for a battle, like properly. He wants to body him so badly, apparently. So,
well, this is just it, man. I think we're going to see a level in Tony that's like at least at the standard of when he's been defending his clashes against people like Def and that, if not more. Because I mean, this whole Don't Flop Ian Daniels beef has been brewing for a while now as well. I mean, it's not. I don't know if you could even call it a beef.
No, there's no real beef in it, but they've both been like. There's been
rivalry.
That's all it is. It's rivalry, and they can both use like each other's name to if they wanted to, but
exactly.
E&D's just like it's not about.
They're going to come through and they're going to squash it in every battle where it's Don't Cast versus E&D. I don't think E&D are going to sit tight with losing.
If that's the matches where you can guarantee you're going to get the best performances out of both battlers. Like when you got those sort of things going on in the background, so that's the way to be looking at booking some of the matches. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
You got Dialect and Skirms as well, which is sort of along the same lot of lines. But,
yeah.
Right.
Dialect and Skirms, man. Sorry, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. I apologise. Right, Dialect and Skirms. It's hard to call because I've only seen Skirms battle once, but I've heard his music. And his music is obviously fucking hard, and everyone seems to say that he's fucking hard, and the general vibe is that he's fucking hard. He must be, because otherwise Dialect wouldn't have accepted the clash, you know what I mean? Like, there's enough people out there that make sick music that have been whack at battling, so that's not enough of a reason for someone like Dialect to step up to battle someone who's sort of big in the music scene.
Yeah.
Dialect of what we've seen of him recently, he called himself the Abomination, and I think that's exactly right. He's at that level, you know what I mean? He's coming through and he's just fucking tearing everything up, taking bodies left, right and centre. So I reckon we will see Dialect destroy Skirms. Is Skirms in E&D?
Yeah,
I thought he was. I thought he was.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's so many of them now. Their roster seems to be growing all the time as well. Don't get me wrong, I love E&D. I've got their mixtape, man. I think the music side of things they do is awesome. Like, I'm really feeling it, and like, I mean, they've got some sick names as well. Like Maestro, for fuck's sake, is Maestro, man. They've got fucking Maestro, but like, I don't know many of which of them are actually doing it from the battle side. Like, but yeah, so I think Dialect's going to take that in any case. unless Skirms is as much of a monster as everyone seems to think he is.
Well, it's a complete like dialect can only lose if dialect in two ways. Dialect bodies himself by choking at some point or like fucking up, or unless Skirms goes, well, actually no, you guys are talking shit about me now and talking wrong, and comes out and goes boom, there you go, and he just catapults himself into a worldwide world of top flight tier battles. You get what I mean? Because
yeah, well, that's
if
just
he goes
it,
out there
it?
and smashes dialect, then
Well, yeah, once you beat dialect, there's no debating that you're top tier, is there? You can't be sort of mid tier and beat dialect. It doesn't happen. Like, because he's one of them battlers.
Close to dialect and be mid tier. You get what I mean? Like, and
Exactly.
This is Double L's chance to come out and go smash. I'm top tier.
Well, this is exactly the thing, man. I think it doesn't matter for Double L. Even if he loses, as long as he gives one of them performances that makes it a close loss,
yeah,
then, you know, because I mean, there's a lot of top tier battlers that couldn't have a close loss with Tony D.
Yeah,
so even within the top tier, he's at a sort of exemplary level, even amongst that. I mean, he's the champ for fuck's sakes. You know, like, so he's obviously at that level. But yeah, man, like we could see some new names actually on this card sort of coming through as really big players for the next sort of half of the year, I think.
Yeah. Well, talking about big game players for the next half of the year and like the newcomers, you got Tally versus Gemini, which it's again, it's another group thing because you got High Rise and E&D in it again. Like, again, obviously, there's not been any beef. Like, they've both called each other out in previous battles.
Yeah,
you get what I mean, and done a hype thing as well. So you know they're both gonna come hard, and there's no doubt about it that they are gonna beast at each other. They're both proven that they can do it, man. It's just like, how much can they do it?
That's exactly it, man. I mean, I think that will be a very intense battle. I'm not going to come out and say it definitely will be, because sometimes when there is an intense beef, sometimes people flop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, look at Chris Lee's Unanimous, for example. That was not the battle that it should have or could have been.
Yeah, but they both came out and admitted there was too many substances involved, to be honest. You get what I mean? Like,
I'm not taking anything away from the two of them by saying that, by the way, but that's the first example.
No. They both admit like that. Part of it was down to the substance, like the drinking shit they were doing. You get what I mean? So like that's what ruins some people's battles, because they do like get later in the card and they drink too much in the early part. I'm not going to mention any names in particular.
Well, I've done it before. My battle with Big J, I got far too stoned before the event, and I started pranging hard. Especially, man, because I don't know why, I just started pranging about the whole "I fucked your dad" line.
Yeah.
And I was worried before the battle that it wasn't going to go off, and obviously it did go off, and then that made me prang even more. And I had this little voice in the back of my head that was going, "Nothing you drop is going to get that reaction. You've peaked too early. You've peaked too early." Like, and that's what made me choke, man. Like, because I just partied a bit too hard before the actual battle. But I don't think Gemini and Raptor will do, though. They don't strike me as the sort of guys that would do that. They're both, especially since they're newcomers as well, man. They've got that hunger, you know what I mean? They're not going to get cocky with it. They're not going to come underprepared. Like, that's one of the reasons, actually, man. I was at the extra tryout events.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about the newcomers at the moment, because 2013, I'm not going to lie, I didn't see that many great newcomers from 2013, not compared to previous years, at least, when you look at, like, 2012 and 11 and stuff.
Yeah.
But these new guys, man, because they know they have to fight for their spots, they're not pulling any punches, bro. They're coming fucking hard. They've got that fire, and that's why. Exactly.
Gemini and Raptor.
Yeah.
I've said in previous shows, and I'll most probably say it in the next 150 shows if I do it. That for me this year is already a contender for the battle of the year for all the battles that we've had this year. Because both of them for being newcomers, or even for the newcomer of the year battle, like sort of thing, you know what I mean? Because they were just fucking awesome, and it's no wonder that Air's making sure they get on the Sunburn card. You get what I mean? Yeah, man. I mean, if there's newcomers to promote, Tally, Gemini, and Raptor are definitely like in the top 5. You know what I mean? They need to be pushed. I mean, I think with Raptor, though, I think there is a little bit of a worry that he's been pushed a bit too hard, too quickly. I've heard that.
Yeah, well, because the reason I say that, right, is because everyone, and I'm guilty of this as well, was tweeting saying Raptors got this tournament in the bag. He's going to win, future top tier. And I don't know about you, but if that was me, that would have got to me a bit because I'm like, right, well, people are expecting. And then obviously his guy dropped out. He got Sleepy G last minute.
Don't. Stop.
Oh yeah, not released yet. Okay. Right. Oh, is that not come out yet?
18th.
Okay. Not to give away.
I'm sad. I'm sad because I do want to talk about that already.
Okay, but we won't discuss that battle then. Like I had a little slip there. I do apologise. Sorry to don't.
I stopped it before. Let's just move on right now. Now I'm going to pull out Enigma Locksmith.
Enigma's got this, man. Like I love Locksmith. Don't get me wrong. Locksmith's like the dude when it comes to tracks, but I think Enigma's just one of them guys. He's just at this ridiculously grotesque guy who will just hit as far below the belt as is possible to go, but then he brings you down to that level, if that makes sense.
He takes you down gently and then hits you hard. That's
exactly it. He does a very similar thing to what I do, man. It's about making your opponent someone that can be laughed at.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is, once he's done that, he can push Locksmith over with that. I think really, like. I mean, I don't know, Locksmith might win it. It's not going to be like a body bag or anything. You know what I mean? I'm not saying to that standard, but I think Enigma will just edge it over in those circumstances. Like,
okay, cool. There's Raptor and Quill on that card as well that we haven't mentioned. So since we've done them all, Raptor and Quill, I better mention it.
Raptor and Quill. I think Raptor's got this. I don't want to say too much about Quill. I'm not. See, it's just how to say
bro, you got to be honest, bro. Like I was.
I've got to be honest.
Even the previous show, I called Old English out for his voice. That I can't watch it because of it, and I did an interview with him last night.
Okay, fair enough. But I don't rate Quill that much as a battler.
Okay.
Like really, I don't. You know, I think he's got the sort of persona right, but in terms of his bars and content, I don't rate it.
Okay.
Raptor, his bars and content are sick, and he's got the persona right. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be... I think Raptor's going to easily sort of make mincemeat out of Quill, really, I think. Like, especially since he can go along the whole vein that he's fairly new, and that Quill's been in this a while, and that, you know, Raptor's already done more, really, by this stage of his career than Quill had by that stage of his career, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I personally think that getting Raptor would be quite a big battle in itself, the amount that he's getting the exposure at the moment, because there's obviously going to be views associated with Raptor at the moment. So, you know, I think Raptor's going to take that.
Okay, cool. There's the pre-party as well, which I still haven't seen a venue for. So, like, 10 days before this is meant to happen, because it's the 19th, that they've got the Louis Daniels football, like the Louis Daniels Cup at Finsbury Park beforehand. Shout out the Uncle Louis Chino and Fertz and the boys that are putting it all on and putting that together, man. And God bless.
Shout out Louis Daniels, man. I'm looking forward to that cup.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good event that they're doing, man, and they got Don't Flop involved as well. So like, it's a good thing to, even if you get time just to whip across there. Like, well, I suppose it's not just a whip across from Ipswich, but like if you're in London and you're watching, or you watch any of the episodes, 19th of July, Finsbury Park. Go watch it's 1 PM, I believe.
Go watch
it, man. Go watch it. I would if I had the opportunity.
Rappers doing football.
Yeah, the god's going to be killing people apparently, so he's been saying. So it's going to be funny to watch Joe Cristal just lump people. Like, he's on a football field, he can get away with it. That's
what you want to go for, though, isn't it? Like, you just want to see the god lay the smack down, smite some non-believers.
Literally, that's all. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna be accidental a couple of times, but just running into that guy, he's quite sturdy. You're just gonna get sent flying anyway. Okay, so that's that whole sort of thing done, man. Like the talk about all the events and stuff. Is there anything that you want to talk about, like anything that's going on, or that's
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen many of the battles for this pre-party.
The
Like,
pre-party.
yeah, I haven't actually checked who's battling there.
The pre-party. There's the main event. It's Joker, the Guard versus Flex.
All right.
Flex Biscuit. You got Boski and Old English.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just working. There it is. Willsy J Short, Josh Fox versus Sio.
Josh Fox.
Yeah.
He's one that's recently improved a lot. You know.
Okay, I've not really seen much of him, to be
Oh,
fair.
I do recommend checking out Josh Fox, man. Like, he battled Marlowe last year, didn't crop up for ages. Everyone just sort of assumed he wasn't getting invited back, like, or just didn't want to do it anymore. And then he came out with a battle out of nowhere. I think either the end of last year or the start of this year.
Yeah.
And he's had a couple now, and he's just every time he's just really sort of come through, man. Like, really come through.
And
So
you got a duo 2v2 as well, which is Rapthor and Roe B from Ireland versus Z and Q Riot.
all right, that looks like that's a good card in itself, you know, man. That's a nice little fixture.
It's a good weekend of battling, which you can still get quite cheaply. To be fair, considering that it's a 2-day event, you can even roll to the football before and make a full weekend of it. You get what I mean?
Full weekend of battle rap, football,
yeah, complete
battles.
Yeah, the Don't Flop versus Louis Daniels in the football, and then you got all the battles after it. So people from the football are obviously going to be involved with it being Don't Flop, and I know Tony D's managed to find Ledley King's second, like his other knee, so he's got that for the day apparently. And Fats is already like starting to cause some Twitter wars with everyone that's involved. You get what I mean? So it's all starting, man. It's all worth a watch. But yeah, it's looking a good weekend for him, and I'm kind of gutted I can't make it myself.
Yeah, man. Like that's just it. Work and that, innit?
Yeah,
Like, this is
right.
the thing, man. If you're a fan, right? If you're a fan watching this, who's never been to a live event, go to some live events, because I'm sitting here as a battler wanting to go to live events, and I can't because I work. And I know you lot are all students, really. I know you lot all have free time. Stop spending your student money on weed. Go and get some tickets and go and watch some battles.
Amen, my brother. Amen.
Do it for me, because I can't do it, because I'm an adult, a grown up in the real world, and we have it's like. I'm still really sore I couldn't book the time off of the Sunbird card, man. I'm still so sore about that. Like, that's such a big card.
Yeah, amen on that. Have you got any shout outs you want to do, bro? Anyone
Yeah, man. First of all, like, shout outs, Don't Flop, obviously, everyone involved. Shout outs to my boy Snoobo, who I mentioned earlier. Like, he's just sort of started his little rap journey, really, in the public eye, but he's already just killing it and making waves. Who else, really? Yeah, just in general, people. Just shout out all my people that I know and are friends with,
Yeah.
and move with.
So you don't want to forget anyone. You do the whole everyone shout out.
Yeah,
that's
man.
a good way.
Like,
It's a good way.
That's just it, man. Like, naming specific people. Like, I could list all the battle rappers that I'm safe with and shout them out, but like, they've already got their own fans. They don't need me doing that.
Exactly.
Like, they know, their fans know. Like, you need to shout out people that need shouting out, really. Like, I don't know, maybe I should shout out some charities or something. That's what I always think. Like, you know,
No.
do something good. But then I don't know which one to pick, because you've got to just make that decision, haven't you? Like, what's more important, kittens or kids? And nobody can make that decision. Who do you want to save more, like panda bears or like people with illnesses? You don't.
Yeah.
So it's the same problem. So wrapping it up, shout out everyone I know, and shout out the charities as well. Go give money to charities. Go events. MassiveKnob.bandcamp.com as well, once again.
Okay, sorry, my mic's breaking up because my dog's eating its dinner. He's just literally come back. Sorry. Shout out Big Daddy Carson, who's watching the show, and will possibly be co-hosting an event with me later on in October this year. But I'm just going to quickly do my shout outs that I always do anyway, bro, so that everyone gets their shout outs and I don't don't feel guilty after a show that I forgot someone like I normally do. Or like last night, I didn't do any shout-outs at all, which is really, really bad. But shout-outs...
Bad hosted, man.
I know, it's really bad. Right. But I had flabs on a show, so my first one's always Ian Daniels. Now, it seems really bad to shout out Ian Daniels when you've just done a whole show talking about Ian Daniels. So I kind of forgot the rest of them at the same time. Corna Bros, Biggie guys up, like, we got some works in the line coming up and it's going to be some good shit. High Rise Entertainment, Flex, everything you're doing is beautiful, bro, keep it going. And yeah, that's it, man, that's it. Make sure you subscribe to all the YouTubes, Facebooks, everything in the info underneath this video, man. Both the Twitters are on the screen that you can see right now, so get onto your Twitter and make sure you follow both of them. And it's been beautiful having you on, bro.
No worries, man. No worries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's been a good show. And we're out, man. We're out.
Right, peace. Goodbye, North.